Good morning, students. Today we are back with the Crazy Art Lady, and what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be making letters to be used as a template for our one-point perspective. With our one-point perspective, you guys were looking at some pictures that former students had done, and I want to show you how to do that. It's a very cool technique. We're going to be looking at how to make things come out, kind of explode out from the vanishing point. And what you want to do is you want to choose a word or phrase that's going to be meaningful to you. Like, I can't give you the word because if I give you the word, then it's meaningful to me, but it's not meaningful to you. When you're completing your artwork, what you want to do is think in terms of something that you're going to want to hang on your wall for at least a year. So it's got to be meaningful to you. So if you like football, it might be a football team, or it might be the word football. If you dance, if you are in a cheerleading, if you are just an artist, there might be some things that come to mind that you could see displaying on your wall and going, oh wow, I did that. We're going to be incorporating pattern into this, but the first step is to just actually make the letters, because what we're going to do is we don't have to put them all together, because when we make these letters, we're going to cut them out and then we're going to use those as a template on a larger piece of paper, okay? We're just going to be tracing them on. So let's say you have 2 M's in your name or whatever word you're going to be using. You don't want to make 2 M's, you're going to make 1 M. So I'm starting with a 4B pencil. I'm starting with my pencil sharpener. I like to keep a nice sharp pencil, an eraser, okay, my straight edge ruler, and a piece of paper. And a lot of you, if you're working in a class, you might have the handout that comes from how to draw cool stuff, and that gives you a whole handout on different letters that you can make. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and fold this paper in half, and I want to take the edges, and I want the edges to meet. Okay, and I'm going to use my thumb and my forefinger, and I'm going to go ahead and crease it. Now, I like to have nice sharp edges and nice sharp folds, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this, and I'm going to fold into the center now, okay? And the reason I do that is because then I know I'm going to get nice sharp edges, okay, on my folds. If I fold over, fold over, fold, I don't necessarily always do that. And so what happens now, if you take a look at this, now I've got this, and I'm going to go ahead and do 3. My magic number is always 3. And so you can see that it's going to fold out like this, okay? So it doesn't matter which way you start, okay? But now you have 4 columns, so you can see it here, okay? Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fold this up horizontally. Now I used to say hot dog fold, when I was in elementary school, simply because it looks like I could fit a hot dog in there. Okay, so I'm going to do lengthwise or horizontally, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go like this, okay, so you can see that this is all out like that. Now I'm going to fold into the center like this. Now when I do this, fold into the center like this. Okay, now remember, these are going to be templates, meaning patterns that you're going to be using. Okay, here we go into the center again. You're going to cut them out, and then you're going to lay them down on your paper, and you can kind of come up with some kind of funky design on it. And I've had students put all their letters backwards, or a few letters backwards, or mix them up. Some people like it a very linear pattern on it, but it's going to be up to you. So now when you open this up, you have 16 rectangles on your paper. Okay, now I like to work this way, and my rule usually is that when you're doing your letters, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to have at least 4 letters in there, okay? So if you're, because it doesn't seem quite fair that somebody's doing Sam, and another person's doing Mackenzie. So what you want to do is add a symbol or something in there. But let's go ahead and start on our letters. If you look at your handout, what you can see is that your letters, you want your letters to be large. I have a lot of students that try to just kind of freehand it like this and draw it in there, but we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to take our straight edge and we're going to draw our lines in so that we know that our letters are going to touch at least 3, if not 4 of those lines when we're making them, okay? So here, here, and here, okay? It's not too complicated. Okay, and then here, here, and here. So I'm going to go like this, go straight across, and you can see each of those rectangles is going to hold a letter. So the first thing that you want to do, it shouldn't be the first thing, but the next thing that you want to do is, what I would like you to do is go ahead and choose a word or a phrase that you want to do, okay? So let's say you're going to do the word beautiful, okay? Now this one, I'm choosing this one because it's a big word, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and write that way down here. Beautiful. Okay, like this, okay? Like that. Just so I remind myself. So I'm going to have one B, one E, one A, one U, one T, one I, one F. I don't need to do this one because I've already got a U, and one L. So that's got a lot of letters in it. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, because I've done this a long time, I don't necessarily, I can go ahead and sketch it out first, but I'm going to go over it with my straight edge. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to get my B down. So I want to have a nice fat B, and the back of the B is going to be on this. Now watch my B, how I do this. I'm going to go like this, and like this, and like this, okay? And then in the middle, it's going to be a little bit fatter, like this, okay? And then I'm going to go like this. Now, you're probably looking at this going, I'm just not seeing it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and straighten these out a little bit. And when I do my cutting, I don't really have to worry about what it looks like, okay? Actually, I do. When I do my cutting, I'm not going to see these intersecting lines. So you're going to see this in just a moment, okay? So what I have here, now that it's all nice and straight, okay, this is going to be the back of the B, like this, okay? You see that? And this is going to be the front of the B, so let's go ahead and take that. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this. When I cut this out, this section and this section will be cut out, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. I'm going to go ahead and hatch in what that's going to look like. Okay, now what I want to do here is I'm going to go ahead and create a line here. And then I'm going to go in like a little curved line here and out like this to make that B. You see that? Okay. So this and this and this all becomes the B that I'm going to be cutting out. So hopefully this makes it a little bit more clear, okay? Like this. So what I do, you can see that now I have a nice strong B. Now if I really wanted to round it a little bit more, I could here and here and here and here to make it look more B-like, okay? Okay, so there's my B. Now the E is very similar, so I'm going to go ahead and do my E, and my E looks like this. And the back of the E is going to be going like this. You can see that this is the back of the E, and this is the other section. And then I've got the top and the bottom here and here, okay, like this, okay. And then in the middle, we want to have the middle portion of the E. Now the middle portion of the E, as you guys remember, is going to be, just move this over here, shorter than the rest, so that when I do cut this out, it's going to look like this. You don't have to do any shading on this. Don't worry about that, because remember, this is a template, this is a pattern that we're going to be ending up throwing away later on, okay, because we're just using this to put our stuff down. So what I want you to do is look at this, okay, and then we go on to the A and the T. Now the T is very easy. I'll show you real quick. I'll do the T, okay, and T here, okay, like this. And I'm not going to do any more shading in because I'm hoping you're seeing this a little bit better. Okay, the A, I want to get that right smack dab in the middle. So what I'm going to do on my A is I'm going to come here, and I'm going to come here, like this. And now I can see the A starting to form, okay, like that. And then you'll see that, and I'm going to go ahead and sketch this out, and then I'll just go over it, okay? You may not be able to sketch this quite yet, okay? So don't worry about that. So instead of using my straight edge, I'm going to go ahead and show you how these are formed, okay? The U's very easy. We're just going to come down here, but I would go over this with the straight edge when you're doing this, okay? And it goes like this and this, whoops, like that, and like that, and like that, and that's your U. T, I, the I is pretty easy, top and bottom, and this is going in between, okay? And the F. And so it'd be a good idea to check all these. Now you don't have to do every letter, but you have to do every letter that's in the word that you're using, okay? So that's pretty much it. When you're finished, you want to take your scissors and you want to cut these out. My recommendation usually is take a razor on these little sections here, but the rest can be cut pretty easily. You know, I've never been one who, you know, folds it and gets in there because it always looks like my dog chewed it up. But if you have access to a razor, or if you want to take it home and do the razor at home, you know, if you're working in a classroom, you can go ahead and do that. But that's how it works. And then you go ahead and cut these out, and then what you're going to do, the next step to this is going to be to take a large piece of paper, and then we're going to lay it out, and then we're going to start drawing lines, okay? So this is just pretty much one day's work. You know, if you're working in a 45, 50-minute session, you probably want to put it away after you've created your letters and you've cut them out, okay? Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.